BDS and academic associations. Hello, it's Amy Zewe with the April 29th Jerusalem Connection Report Friday Red Alert. Today I want to talk about how the Boycott, Divest, Sanction, that is the BDS movement, which specifically targets the nation of Israel and by extension Jewish people worldwide, has taken hold across university campuses, specifically within one particular academic association. However, the good news is not all professors agree with these movements. The American Studies Association, in particular, the ASA, voted to participate in a BDS boycott of Israeli academic institutions back in 2013. This vote was said to be by 66% of the votership, which was 828 people. This association has 5,000 members. Therefore, those who voted yes were less than 20%. I would argue that this isn't a quorum and should not be considered a valid vote. Needless to say, this particular vote violates the mission statement of the ASA, which is, according to the IRS filing for their tax-exempt status, the ASA is the nation's oldest and largest association developed to the interdisciplinary study of American culture and society, with the specific purpose of advancing the study of American culture. Therefore, within this scope of their objective, it would seem any vote or attention paid to Middle Eastern issues would then be outside the scope of their charter. 4 professors have recognized this and have been working within the ASA to reverse the vote. However, they had been unable to avail, so they did file a lawsuit. They claim that the ASA is misallocating funds, that is, dues paid by professors to be part of the association, in that it is being used for a narrow political agenda by certain professors that's outside the scope of the charter. It also alleges that it is violating a DC law where the charter is recorded that nonprofits may not use their funds to operate outside their charter or objective. Some background on the original passage of this vote is that it was led by a professor, Stephen Salaita, who was an American Studies professor at the University of Illinois in Urbana. He has since been dismissed, particularly for his rants on Twitter, where he would allege that anyone who defends Israel is quote-unquote helplessly brainwashed, that Zionism has made anti-Semitism honorable, and that if the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was to don a necklace, quote, made of teeth of the Palestinian children, nobody would be surprised. His irrational rants on social media warranted his dismissal, and yet his supporters will argue that he was only dismissed for his pro-Palestinian stance and that there is an anti-Zionist movement afoot in academia. After the U of I dismissed this professor, he was appointed a position at the American University in Beirut. This offer was also then rescinded, not for the love of Israel or for any defense of anti-BDS movements or Zionism. It was because there was some irregularities, it is said, on his hiring process. Indeed, professors who have been openly supportive of the BDS movement and claiming to be part of a human rights or progressive movement are revealing their true nature with the use of social media. They sit in the comfort of their studies with their computers and tweet the most hateful anti-Israel items. I reported last month of Oberlin College's composition professor, Joy Carrega, as she was dismissed after her inane social media rants that included the Jews caused the 9/11 tragedy, and that most of the economic crises in Europe since the Bonaparte era were caused by Jewish bankers. If you give someone enough rope, so the saying goes. In any event, Salaita did pretty well as he sued the University of Illinois for wrongful termination, and they settled out of court for approximately $875,000. To quote some of these attorneys, the attorneys in this case suing the ASA, here's what they had to say. This appears to be a clear example of a small group misappropriating assets raised for an agreed-upon purpose and illegally using the organization to advance a completely separate and personal agenda. This was said by the University of California, Berkeley Law School professor Stephen David Hoff Solomon, a corporate law expert who is helping in this litigation. Moreover, the ASA's vote for this BDS also discriminates against Israelis specifically for their nature of their origin, that is, their ethnic and national origin. This violates many U.S. laws. The backlash is that folks who are supportive of Salah-Ida and the BDS movement are saying that this is an attempt to quell First Amendment rights. And this is not the case. No professor who is a member or not a member of the ASA is being asked to not talk about Middle Eastern issues or to not express their opinions, even if we don't agree with them. It's only asking that the ASA doesn't use its assets and its attention and time for this cause. Northwestern University law professor Eugene Krontorovich, a legal expert who's also involved in the case, has added, and I quote, "To be clear, this is not about silencing or stopping the criticism of Israel, or in any way discouraging it. It's about nonprofit corporations abiding by their own rules. So don't let the misdirection of the other side skew the point that this is about the ASA voting to participate in a political agenda item that has nothing to do with its charter or purpose." In all of this mire that I'm reporting to you, it is our job to battle through these details and look for truth. We need to be armed with the sword of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, and the shield of faith. And then we can move forward. We already know who's won the war, but the devil's in the details. I'm using this forum to present to you the details so that you can go to combat. Combat with truth and facts. May I wish you all a happy Passover, Shavua Tov. Have a great week, and Shabbat Shalom.